And that is right, people. Back once again. You've got me twice in one day. How lucky are you people? Yes, I can hear it. But I am, of course, the excellent one. I am Ricky Goldman, and this is the 40th episode of the Raining Rock podcast. So get those champagne corks popping with little things stopping. And now you can enjoy the view. Anyway, let me bring in, as you like and subscribe, just one away from 390. Let me bring in not one, but two guests here. So first of all, he is four-time FTW prediction champion. He's joined us before. He's joining us again. Former Bleacher Report writer. He is a man himself. He is Byron. He is Trey.
What's going on, everybody in
my
Golden Land?
Final boss. Sorry, say that again. Sorry.
I love being on the most electrifying podcast in all the land. You guys, I wish my schedule was freer that I could do this more often.
Yes, you're a great guest. And let me bring in my second. Sorry, not a guest. You're a good co-host. But let me bring my second one, and he is the money man. Thankfully, appreciative of him joining me. He is Bling Bling Man himself.
Ching ching, bling bling. It's always money over yeet.
Yes, and I have made a couple of videos just to kind of celebrate the 40th episode. They're 6 minutes each, so I'm not sure if I'll play them in full. I might just play a little bit just so you can get the gist, but let me play the first one here. But before that, I'm going to ask, how are you, Byron?
I'm doing wonderful. I watched a little bit of a travesty of justice go down on Crown Jewel multiple times.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best pay-per-view. Just
not at all. And yeah, I'm honestly and I'm gonna get to this later on. I am so tired of them just handing Cody Rhodes accolades. Like in this, and I'm starting to wonder, is this like Triple H trying to make good with Dusty because Vince did Dusty so dirty? Because that's all it seems like. There is nothing superbly interesting about anything Cody Rhodes has done in the last 7 months as champion.
I love it when you bury that human garbage truck that is Cody Rhodes.
I feel you remember Transformers, the old Transformers. They had the Constructicons, the ones that were like building. They had building trucks and stuff. Like I want to be that one that just dumps all the dirt on Cody Rhodes because he ain't doing it, man. It's like here's the thing, a ring, okay, and I'm saying this in wrestling terms, and I think Mark would agree with me on this too. A ring is a heel thing. Like it's one thing if you get to carry a belt around. When you're carrying a ring, that's a heel move. So that's
yeah, like it. Suppose like MJF, I suppose. Yeah,
exactly.
Marcus has said it before. It's a lack of heels. You've got no heels. If you look at the roster, you've got two strong, non-booked 50-50 heels that's been dominant all year, Drew and Gunther. Everybody else is 50-50. Everybody else loses or loses when loses at big matches when it matters.
Yeah.
It's like two heels, and that's not good. So, anyway, Marcus, how are you? Just before I play the video, how are you?
I'm chilling, man. Just
so, like I said, 6 minutes long, but I probably won't play it all just because that's 12 minutes altogether because I made two, but I'll play a little bit, so I'll play the first one now. He is the leader of the brand. He is the real Ryan Lowell.
Thanks, Andy.
And how are you? Mr. Indy, how are you?
Hey, it's Mr. Indie Wrestling. Thank you very much. Let's get it right. If we're going to say
I apologise, Mr. Indie Wrestling. I apologise.
How's everyone doing? You all right?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Good. Hi from Ireland, by the way. Hey, how you doing? I'm good.
So,
question is, have you got Guinness with you? They're back in the shed. They're back in the shed. I'll go get one later for you. Fair enough.
let me just take. I'll just put that up for you. So that's your. He comes in. So he is Texans' own newest signing to Reality of Wrestling referee. Keep a lookout for him. He is Billy Ray Dog.
Hello, Billy. How are you?
So there we go. There a little bit. I'm not going to play the entire video because it's 6 minutes long. But there are just some of the interviews I've done, and Baron, you're in there as well. Unfortunately, didn't get to see that bit, but obviously it's like 12 minutes long, so obviously that's a long time. We've got lots to discuss. But on the 40th episode, as everyone watching likes and subscribes, we'll get into the first segment, and I want the money man himself to announce it once I play this.
What's cooking at the table?
That is right. Pull up a chair and let's have a talk over the people's Steve Weiser. And I did forget to say, everybody, grab yourself a drink as you watch and listen to us go over wrestling and everything else in between. So, Byron, the last week or so, what have you been up to?
Gotta be honest, a lot of work. My schedule stays so busy. I coach soccer. We just had a game today, as a matter of fact. Had a game this morning into the afternoon. We won that game because I'm great at this. But like a lot of wrestling has been going on. A lot of things happening in wrestling have made things incredibly interesting. One of my favorite moments was at NXT when like you have women that came from from all these different places that are going to be in this one singular match. It's 10-woman tag match, and I think that's huge because it used to be when you saw a 10-woman tag match, that was the entire division. And like NXT right now has such a huge roster and a huge talent pool. It's probably the best women's division in the world right now.
I'm still a little bit on Stephanie Vicky because I don't really know who she is. No, Stephanie, cool, but it's Zara, which we'll get into later. But Zara is like,
that one's new to me. Like, I didn't really follow her outside of WWE, so I'm still like, okay, let me see something.
Like, they're doing something with her next week on NXT in Marcus's home state of Philadelphia at the ECW arena. But Marcus, what have you been up to the last week or so? And also, do you play soccer? I know you play a lot of sports, but do you play soccer or anything like that?
I played soccer in high school. That was the last time I really touched a soccer pitch, honestly. I mean, I've done some pickup every now and again, but not as much as I'm not doing pickup games anymore. Pick up basketball, yeah, but not pick up soccer. Just teaching the kids, and watching some professional wrestling and trying to figure out who these new people are.
What's pick up basketball? What's that?
So that's when like you go out to a park and like they literally pick teams and it's like, hey, we got 4. You want to run with us or stuff like that. So it's like these are like non-structured teams.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Marcus has been teaching the kids he teaches not to have my stamina. What was it that Marcus you saying, Marcus? The stamina of Viscera.
The stamina of Viscera. You have the stamina of Viscera.
No, you've got to have a good, got to have good stamina to be in the ring, haven't you?
We're also talking about
works. Okay then.
I feel like I have the stamina of a boxer. I give you 3 minutes at a time. I'm gonna go rest for a little bit.
3 minutes and gonna let me lie down for 3 hours.
I don't know. 'Cause in my school, we have a faculty and staff basketball game coming up, and they're expecting me to be the star of the team because I'm teacher of the year. And so it's just like, okay, I guess I gotta, show out a little bit.
Speaking of boxing, didn't just Jake Paul and Mike Tyson have a fight and it's on Netflix or something?
No, so I think Jake Paul switched up. Like Mike Tyson had a heart condition at one point in time that they discovered while he was on a plane, and so there was a question about it. But now the fight itself has now been scheduled. It's 2 weeks from now, on the 15th.
Do you think Mike Tyson just kills him?
I think that given the circumstances, I think the original set of rules that they had, like the exhibition rules, they favored Jake Paul. But I think giving it an actual, going against an actual boxer, even though Tyson's 60, I mean, Mike Tyson at 60 is still it's like playing Jordan now, he's still Jordan. And Tyson is in, amazing shape.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
don't know if he kills him. I don't know if he kills him because I don't know what that stamina we back to the stamina again. But I think that Jake Paul's gonna get hit harder than he's ever been hit before.
Mm-hmm.
If he's got the stamina of his brother, then Logan Paul just seems to be good at everything he does. There's certainly wrestling. He picked up wrestling and
oh yeah, but stamina seems to go away very quickly when you get punched in the mouth.
I would like to be a boxer. They'd hit me, I'd get out of the ring and go, that's it for me. No. I'd be like this, like that.
There was this one fight a few years ago. I think it happened right before COVID. The boxer got in the ring. He was going against this undefeated guy. And, he came to the ring. He was out of shape. And the other guy was ripped to pieces, right? And when they waited for the bell ring, they got the instructions from the ref. They touched gloves, and when the bell ring, dude got up and got out of the ring and walked up the ramp.
Why?
He wasn't gonna fight him. He said he just wasn't about to fight this guy.
You want some of this? No.
Right.
So they touched gloves. He was no thank you. Got out and walked away.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Wait, I'll have to look on YouTube. What fight was that?
Pay me my money and I'm out of here. I'm good.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. It was like he had to stay in the ring long enough to in order for him to fulfill his contract or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he's boxing like wrestling. They win by count out. I know.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out if it. I wanted to know. Can I share a screen? Is that possible?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it says it down below, then yes. Otherwise, no. I don't know. Don't even. But whilst you're doing that, I've been up to what I've always been up to: going to the gym and making things. So I've made, first of all, and I've got a picture of it all lit up with a candle in. Pumpkin on one side, head of the table, on the other, the people's eyebrow. So I've got a picture of it all lit up, which I think looks a whole lot better. So there we are. And that's the other side. I've also repainted my WWE Championship. It was hot because all the gold came off, so I've repainted that. So actually, I think looks like gold now. What do you think, Marcus? Think it looks good?
Good enough.
Yeah. So and made the crown jewel, as I do for every pay-per-view, crown jewel card. We'll get into that later on here. I'm guessing he won't let you share, Byron.
Hey, see if you can check the backstage real quick. See if it'll pop up on there, because it's popped up as if somebody else just joined into the backstage.
Oh yeah, there. Oh yes, of course, yes. Right, there we are. Is this the match?
Yeah, this is the match. See, the one dude, he is like completely out of shape versus this other guy.
And he just touches gloves and out he goes.
Yeah. Like,
This is me. I'm the out of shape guy.
I'm gonna turn the sound on just so you can hear this part. See how funny this part is when the bell rings.
Of his 5 professional bouts, 4 of them have been done in the first round. So he likes to bring an end to opponents in quick fashion.
Is he getting out?
My man just said, I'm done. Goodbye.
Well, there we are. You get everything here. You even get a little bit of a boxing watch along, and a match that just walks out.
A little bit of boxing history right there. You never know what's cooking at the table.
But let's get into the next segment, which is, of course, this right here. So rolling out the red carpet, the cameras are ready for a movie talk. 3 movies as always. I've watched the Crow remake. I've not watched the original. Remake was good. In a Violent Nature, another horror movie. That was decent. And Smile 2. Not as good as the first one, but there we are. Byron, have you watched any movies lately, or do you plan on watching any movies perhaps?
So this is one I watched a little while ago, but it just came on HBO Max, so now it's like out there for everybody. But it was super good. Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's Trap is
very good.
Good. Yeah, that was good. Like, I mean, for what it was, I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. Another movie that I saw. What else did I see? I saw. I just watched Harold and the Purple Crayon with the kids.
Another good movie. Did you like it?
I did. My kids have a bad habit of starting movies real late though, because they're excited because they get to stay up late. And I'm like, cool, I just went to sleep on most of this. Now I gotta figure out what just happened. And then my top third movie. Transformers 1.
Transformers 1.
Yes. Man, Transformers 1 is amazing. Like, that is probably one of my favorite movies that I've seen recently. Like, I feel like this might be my top Transformers movie just because the origin story isn't just your typical origin story. Like, you really get to see. Like, Megatron is the absolute best character in this entire show. So, if you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely go see it in theaters if it's still playing, or wait for it to come out on streaming. But that was probably one of the better animated movies that I've seen in a really long time.
Will you be watching Terrifier 3, or are you not a fan of horror movies?
So I'll be trying to watch Terrifier 3, but Terrifier 3 is kind of funny to me because it's so ridiculous. So I always end up watching, like, catching Terrifier movies in parts, and then I'm like, all right, I just need to know what happened in this particular order.
It's meant to be very gory, and people have been to watch it, left the cinema even thrown up. So,
yep. I think the next thing that I wanted to see though was Piece by Piece by Pharrell Williams. It's kind of a Lego movie about it's like a Lego biography of one of the greatest music producers in the world.
And then we'll be watching. I'll actually be going to. I don't watch movies at the cinema, but I will be, and that is, of course, the Rock's new one, the red one, on Wednesday when it comes out. I'll be watching that on Wednesday.
I don't know why I thought that was a Netflix movie.
Because all of his movies are going to Netflix now, don't they? I suppose. Well, unless he can make money in the cinema, which of course he does. And then I'll be also going to watch Moana 2. Have you seen the first one? But I'm guessing your kids have seen the first one.
Oh yeah, the kids are looking forward to it. There's certain things that I don't mention in my house because it sets off. When are we gonna go see it? Like, all right, let's bring it down a notch.
But yeah, Trap, very good movie, I thought. Yes.
Yep.
Marcus, have you been watching anything other than sports and wrestling? Is it the NBA you've been watching or something? I don't know what's the latest sport you've been watching?
All of them?
All of them. Okay, then. So even Tiddlywinks you've been watching.
That's not a sport, but all right.
Okay, then. Is it not?
I'm gonna try to figure out when it comes to sports. Like, how come the only time you see curling is at the Winter Olympics? Like, you never see curling.
That's the only time it ever really matters.
Right. But like, I would love to see, like, like, how do you get good at curling? How do you find a league to see how do I stack up against that guy at curling?
I would say that's probably like a recreational. It's more of a recreational sport than professional. But you could probably find some professional level curling somewhere. You just gotta really find it.
I'm just waiting for them to have axe throwing at the Olympics soon.
Curling will be.
I'm actually surprised that's not already there.
Yeah. You know, the one thing that surprisingly, I know it's not really like a sport per se, but it comes up on a regular basis, is chess. They always like try to propose chess as a winter as an Olympic event, and I'm like, I'd be down for it actually.
That's the only sport that I'm in shape for. Any other sport? Thank you. Darts, I suppose, is a sport.
Well, yeah, darts is a sport, but I don't know if you heard about this, but there's a huge push to put esports as a sport in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
What's esports? What's that?
So esports is video games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. And I think that would be pretty insane to see. I mean, it's already one of the fastest growing, most popular, and people make, bucket loads of money off of it. So.
Yes, so yeah, that'd be interesting to see that in the Olympics. But let me go to the next segment. Then I'm going to play the second part of the interviews, get another minute or so, and then I'm going to go into an ad. So lots to play here, but let me play this first.
It is now time for Wrestling Days Out with Ricky Goldman.
That is right, Wrestling Days Out with Ricky Goldman. I did go to a show last week, put in the group who I went dressed as. Everybody should have to guess who I went dressed as, but it was a Halloween type show. It had a casket match on, it had a pumpkin on a pole match on. Decent enough. So yeah, and now this month I've got 4 shows and a watch party, so you could say 5. Do you attend any watch parties, Byron, or anything like that?
I haven't. I've been meaning to. I just found a group on Facebook that of people who live in my area code that do stuff. So like I know now that they do watch parties. So I keep saying I'm gonna attend one of theirs once I get some free time.
I suppose it'll be the last one, won't it? When it goes on to Netflix, I don't know if it's illegal or not. So I suppose you can't.
Netflix might be a little bit harder to do the watch parties, but I think overall, I mean, I have Netflix, so it won't be a problem. But you know what's surprising about my life right now is that my cable company, for some reason, doesn't have CW. So I haven't been able to watch NXT live.
Yeah, is it not on? Well, it's on the network for me. Is it not on Peacock for you?
Nope. We got a over the air channel, and so I usually have to catch. I catch it like the next day, which is part of the reason why the FTW results for NXT usually come out the next day.
I go to a bar for a watch party, and the UK-based wrestling company that does them said Survivor Series maybe be the last ever because it won't be as easy to watch them on Netflix. So that's lots of money for WWE, but for companies that just rely on doing watch parties, that's it for them.
Right.
But so I'm going to play the second half of Have a little celebration video here. But I'll play about a minute or so again. So here you go. The bruiser himself, he is Drill.
How's it going?
And how are you today? All right, yeah. Let me just bring him up.
How are you?
My name's the other dude in this game, the wise man. If you can save your questions until the end, just so that makes it easier. So thank you for doing this. And I've been watching Ireland UBWB. I really do like your character, so yeah, so thank you.
It's not a problem. Thanks for having me on.
So I usually just ask a couple of general questions first, and that is, how long have you been watching wrestling? Bad years for me. Rock podcast. Do get this liked and shared as always. And we are kicking things off tonight with an interview. So let me bring in the man himself, the man of the hour, former Bleacher Reporter writer, current Geek by Nation writer, four-time FTW, not the crappy AEW FTW, nobody wants that. Four-time FTW prediction champion, the man himself. He is here. He is Trey J Styles, or Byron. And how are you?
I'm fantastic, man. Thank you for having me. I always like your show because you always know how to give me the best entrances.
Yes, and like, did you have an interview about a bit of nobody wants that crappy FTW title in AEW?
Yeah, you don't even know.
So there we are. Actually, got to play Byron's little interview. The little interview I did. And again, they were 6 minutes long. So see if I could if you could like speed it, make it go fast. If you could speed it through on StreamYard, great. But you can't. You have to watch the video in its entirety. But we are just 8 weeks away, 10 weeks away from Christmas, and the number one gift that the world is discussing this year is this. That is right. Price indeed, Goldman, the one I always say, if you cannot purchase a t-shirt, like get it shared on my socials on screen right now. So Promising One Tees, Goldman's one is the brand to be. Get it under your Christmas tree to save your family and friends being upset this Christmas. So I'm going to play a video going into almost the final segment. Of course, we have news and headlines still to come. Let me play this, and then we can get into some wrestling talk.
It is now time for wrestling.
That is right. So what is it, Byron? I'll have you announce it.
Oh, welcome to the Wrestling Roundup.
That is right. As always, we will start with, very quickly, the other brand, the other company. I want to certainly get your thoughts on a debut that happened from both of you, a debut that happened on Dynamite. But Let's begin with last week's collision that saw. Quickly, let's do this. Jay White go over Shane Taylor. Penelope Ford is back. She beat Robin Renegade. The Outrunners, who seem to be getting a decent push in AEW, beat MXM Collection. Ricochet knocked off Leo Rush. Anna Jay went over Viva Van, and FTR beat LFI. I'll say a bronze. Any thoughts, Byron?
Not really. Collision is doing a great job of showcasing new talent. A lot of indie folks who aren't like main roster, but yet giving them a shine at that. One of the people that I like is Viva Van. I hate that she gets reduced to a jobber because she was a belt collector on the indie scene. So Ricochet and Leo Rush was the match that I didn't have any doubts about who was going to win, but it was the match that I was most looking forward to from Collision. So that one delivered because you had very interesting styles between the two of them. So
what are your thoughts on Leo Rush now kind of just being a very much a 50-50 jobber?
Well, see, Leo Rush isn't an AEW guy. So I mean, you kind of Tony Khan is basically like, hey, my guys are gonna go over. And if you put an ROH guy versus an AEW guy, the ROH guy is probably going to lose in the case of, like, say, a Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor, to me, should not be losing matches. Shane Taylor is 312 pounds that can move like a cruiserweight and is ridiculous. Like, I remember seeing Shane Taylor live. The first time I saw Shane Taylor live was at the last ROH Final Battle, the one before Tony Khan purchased the company, and it was like him versus Kenny King, and they had this ladder that was stretched across from the ring to the barrier, and he hit his like finisher on Kenny King on that thing, and I'm like, the fact that this dude was able to like move the way he does and pop back up from that is insane because that ladder collapsed. But
was Shane Taylor there when I know you went to AEW about a couple of months or so ago? Was Shane Taylor there then, or
no? He wasn't there on that show. But I guess I have a hard time being able to enjoy AEW as much because it's kind of like they've fallen into the trap of the Incredibles. You remember the Incredibles from Disney? It's like if everything's this big thing, then after a while, nothing is.
Mm-hmm.
True, very true. But let's get into Dynamite. So only you had 4 matches. So Adam Cole knocks off Buddy Murphy. Private Party are your new AEW Tag Team Champions. I think Private Party might be AEW Originals.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
So your brand new AEW Tag Team Champions. Cool, but it happened on a random Dynamite. Why didn't it happen at the pay-per-view or the next pay-per-view in a few weeks? Chris Statlander defeated Camille. Swerve Strickland pinned Shelton Benjamin. Now, the biggest story of the night, well, Private Party becoming tag team champions, but also the debut of former WWE champion, the almighty Bobby Lashley. So it's another WWE guy. So MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley beat up a former WWE guy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool to see Lashley there, but so I'll say I like Private Party and I like the won the title, so I'll say silver minus. Any thoughts, Marcus? What do you think of Private Party winning and the debut of Bobby Lashley?
All right, so I kind of want to go back to Collision. Who the fuck is Jay White?
Is he not New? Well, I think Myron will know probably more than me. I think he was in New Japan, was he?
Yeah, he was the leader of Bullet Club after like the mass exodus to AEW, and everybody kind of started leaving. He was kind of one of those top guys. He was one of the guys who beat Okada, which was one of the guys who beat Okada. He was. He's super good on the indies. He had a solid run, I think, when he was in TNA for a bit. Really kind of helped put TNA back on track, actually. during his run, because he went against like all their top guys. I don't know, Jay White. Jay White's okay. He just doesn't present as a star in American television.
I think that was not long ago. He was rumored to come to WWE. I think it was rumored to be might have been in the Rumble, perhaps. I don't know. I can't remember. But he was rumored to be coming. So
in 23, yeah, in 23, his New Japan contract was up. They thought he was going to come into the Rumble. Tony Khan gave him like a huge money deal. He said, "I'm gonna have to take that because y'all can't match what's being offered."
Okay. So that's my question out the way. I think, first of all, Private Party winning the tag titles is about time.
Yeah.
The fact that the Acclaim got the tag titles before them is kind of wild business, knowing that Private Party, once upon a time, they was doing some good work with Matt Hardy. And then who knows?
Billy.
I don't know what happened to that, but yeah, good for them. I'm happy that they got the tag titles. About time. Bob. Good old Bob, Black Bob, showing up to AEW is cool. Actually, Swerve Strickland is not a former WWE guy; he's a former NXT guy. There's a difference. He never made it to the main roster. I never heard of Swerve Strickland until he got to AEW. That's how bad.
Did he not come up with? I know Hit Row like one match.
No, he left.
They had one match and they were gone. So was it just?
Nah, I don't remember seeing Bull like ever in my life on WWE television. So they're just pretty much rehashing the what's the name of that, John?
Hurt Business.
Yeah, they're kind of pretty much rehashing that. I wish they would have rehashed the fucking Beat Up Clan. That's a lot better than fucking.
Well, supposedly this version is supposed to be closer to the beatdown crew than the Hurt Business, even though the Hurt Business is the more known title.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hurt Syndicate. Do we call it the Hurt Syndicate?
No, it was the Beat Up Clan.
Well, I'm talking about like what they're using in AEW. They call themselves the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah. But I think, to be honest, I feel like Bob going there is everything's too much of a big deal that nothing's a big deal.
Exactly. I've been saying that for too long. Like, you basically had a bunch of major debuts not happen on pay-per-view. You've had a bunch of title changes not happen on pay-per-view. You've been having a bunch of alleged dream matches not happen on pay-per-view.
That's good and bad. It's good because anything can happen on Dynamite. Anybody can debut. Anybody can turn up. But it should also be saved for pay-per-view.
You know,
certainly Private Party winning.
They could have won it. Nitro to me. It sounds real Nitro-like.
But you know what?
You've got
Nitro was before streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you could do that kind of stuff. Like Raw, it made sense to get, when you were shooting for a 7.2 rating, yeah, it made plenty of sense to put your big stuff on there because the TV money was there. Now it's the streaming money everybody wants.
Mm-hmm.
It's pay-per-views. The reason why UFC is so valuable now is because the pay-per-views are worth so much brand-wise because of the fact that streaming services are such a thing.
Uh-huh.
You've got a pay-per-view in a few weeks. Full Gear. It's on the 23rd, so in 20 days, could have done the match there, and Private Party could have won there, but they're probably going to do a rematch, and it wouldn't shock me if the Young Bucks win it back.
The Young Bucks are gone for a little bit. The Young Bucks honestly don't bring much to it as far as excitement. Because you're either like, oh, somebody's going to go over the Young Bucks and then nobody cares, or the Young Bucks are going to come back to bury somebody, in which, once again, we don't care.
I'm not going to give it a grade, though. I don't watch it, so I can't grade it.
Right now. And finishing up AEW here, the final show, they're the same name as one of the Rock's movies, Rampage. So, LFI in 6-person tag team action, triumph against the Butcher Beef, and JD Drake. Taya Valkyrie knocks off Zoe Lynn. Layla Gray did a job to Queen Amita. Action Andretti and Top Flight got beaten. Action Andretti and Top Flight didn't get beaten. They beat the Dark Order. And Commander, who's a total jobber in AEW, beats another jobber in Leo Rush. Bronze, I'll say. Any thoughts, Byron?
I just wish that the Lucha Brothers were free. Free the Lucha
And
Brothers.
getting away from AEW now, going straight into NXT is still WWE. So going to the other company, WWE, and of course, Halloween Havoc. Let's get through this as quick as we can here. 5 matches, all of them could have been on a random NXT. But you saw Tony D'Angelo retain in a Tables, Ladders and Scales TLC match against Obafemi. Good match here. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Good match. If that main evented this week's NXT, I would have thought, oh no, stick it on pay-per-view. Yeah, anything to add, Marcus?
Oh, what?
You know, I felt like there should have been more weaponry being used in a match called Table Ladders and Scares. But that's just me. I don't feel like the match lost my attention. That's how bad that was. To me, was it a good match? Yes, but it was just good. It didn't retain attention for me.
It's cool to see Halloween Havoc as a pay-per-view for the first time ever in 24 years. And I think that's all it did. Just, it's now a pay-per-view.
I personally feel like if that's the end of Obafemi's run in NXT, then that's a good way to go out. I mean, he looked like a monster. It looked like, for the weaponry, he looked like he was the weaponry. They really had to pull out everything to beat him. I mean, I think that this dude got it, man. I think Obafemi, there's something about him. He, even the way he walks to the ring, kind of has this like extra cool factor to it. And I think that some of the people that got cut this week, WWE could probably use a little shot in the arm.
Would you not have him go after Trick or no?
I don't want to see that match. I wouldn't. I truthfully, I don't want to see Obafemi versus Trick because I don't think it doesn't hit the same. Because for one, I think Trick is so much better at talking than he is wrestling. Like Trick wins over by personality, not because of in-ring skill, which is not a terrible thing. But the spot that Trick Williams has is a spot that they wanted Velveteen Dream to have 4 years ago.
Well, maybe I'll mention Velveteen. If anybody knows the backstory of what Velveteen Dream did, but do you know, Marcus, or no?
No. All I know about Velveteen Dream is that he seems like very Billy and Chuckish.
He apparently filmed people in a bathroom. He left his phone. He was filming people. EC3 has said about it, and I think I might be getting mixed up the wrong person, but I'm sure Velveteen Dream was training somebody underage, and let's just leave that alone. But if you're interested, go and read it. Go and read it on the internet about Velveteen Dream, but he's done some pretty dodgy, pretty bad stuff that if it's all true, that he'll never be wrestling again. But let's quickly move along to the next one, which was women's tag team action. I think, yes, just to have to check on Wikipedia just to see the match order. Julia, Stephanie Vaquia going over Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Again, if this main event at NXT, I don't think stick it on pay-per-view. Stephanie Vaquia is okay, her getting the pin on the champion, that was cool, but where does this lead? Byron, anything to add here?
Honestly, I think Stephanie Vaquia, as a wrestler, has a very interesting look. I mean, she's very pretty. That goes without saying. But I think that the way that her gimmick, I guess if you want to call it one, is very. It's almost like she does Thunder Rosa better than Thunder Rosa. And honestly, I think that one day we're going to see. I think in 2025 we're going to see Thunder Rosa in WWE. But that's a different conversation for a different day. I think Stephanie Vakir's style of wrestling is so good. I don't think that there's anybody on the roster she can have a bad match with. I think that she can take some of the people who are newer in NXT and make them look amazing in the ring. And I haven't seen anybody that can do that since like NXT UK when Mako Satomura was basically running that brand. The idea of having somebody like Stephanie Vakir is incredible, and I do think that she may be the one to beat Roxanne Perez.
I think they're gearing up. Ugh. See, unfortunately, the women's title picture is very directionless, so I don't know which way it's going. I think they're gearing up for the person they made there. Well, they debuted on NXT, but then they turned up again at Halloween Havoc, and that's Zarya. I think that's who wins it, which would be a bad idea because I don't think no one knows who she is. So if you have her win it, it's not going to help NXT.
Zarya seems like she's been targeting Fatal Influence, so she may end up winning the women's North American title. But I think Stephanie Vakir is going to be holding that women's title for a minute.
We'll get to the North American title at Halloween Havoc, but I'd have that person hold on for a while. Anyway, Marcus, anything you want to say about this tag team match?
Well, it was my first time ever seeing Cora Jade wrestle, so that was that. I don't really, to be fair with you, I really don't remember much of Halloween Havoc. I was half-ass watching it because wasn't it on a Sunday?
Yes,
last Sunday.
That's why I half-ass watched it. It interfered with football, so yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this thought and then I'll get to another thought, but I keep forgetting that you're new to Halloween Havoc, NXT, and Byron, is that your children in the background having a little wrestling match?
Of course, every so often I gotta like peek in and make sure they're like not,
trying to spear each other and Superman punch and maybe watching too much Roman Reigns.
My kids right over the whole "don't try this at home" thing.
Do you just very, very quick question? Do your kids like wrestling or no?
Yes. Yeah. So my son's favorite wrestler is John Cena. He's 12, so don't hold it against him. My daughters like Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. And do you remember Deonna Purrazzo?
I do.
Yeah. So
I suppose.
So a couple of years ago, while she was still in her TNA run, my daughters actually got to have a live video call with her. And it was, I can't remember, it was during, I think, her and Jordan Grace's feud. But she had to have they were talking to her backstage while she was backstage during one of their pay-per-views. So that was always cool. So they
where was that?
Love her
in TNA.
And my kid's first wrestling event that they ever went to was in AEW. AEW was here.
Yeah,
I remember when you told us.
Yep.
Right, CM Punk.
And that was when they met CM Punk, and that's when they met Britt Baker.
Have you just got the two children or more?
I got three. My youngest daughter's first event was a Raw, and I mean, she's in dance, so everything was dancing. Street Profits came out, she was dancing. Seth Rollins came out, she was dancing. Becky Lynch came out, she was dancing. It was just, she had so much fun that by I think about 10:30, she was ready to go to sleep. She had fell asleep.
Well, of course, you get main event and Raw and a dark segment. Yeah, it can be long.
Oh yeah.
Their favorite Becky Lynch as well, then, or?
Yeah, well, my middle child's favorite is Becky Lynch.
So in an ambulance match, and I thought it was cool they used the Ghostbusters truck. I don't know what you would call it, but
a car.
But in an ambulance match, Ridge Holland, Andre Chase again. If this main evented in NXT, good match. I like the push that Ridge Holland's getting.
Now, this match I actually watched.
Yeah.
I actually watched this one. I did enjoy it. It was my first time really paying attention to Andre Chase, Russell. It was good though. It was a good match. And actually, that's what an old school ambulance actually looks like.
Oh yeah, of course, because the Ghostbusters car is an ambulance, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's an old school ambulance.
Very, very good movie as well. Do you like Ghostbusters, Marcus?
I mean, who are you going to call?
Do you like Ghostbusters, Byron?
Yeah, I don't think I have seen a bad Ghostbusters movie, and that includes the all-female cast.
It wasn't the best, was it? But
It wasn't the best one, no, not by far, but it was a solid movie. I enjoyed it.
can't beat the first and second with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and that's it. I can't remember the other two guys, but what was the guy with glasses on? Ego, or was it? What was his real name? What?
What was his real name? What was it? Egon Spencer. That was
And then
Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis.
Who was the guy that sang the Ghostbusters theme? What was he called? Some Lee Parker, was it? No, am I making that up?
Now that one I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. Anyway, so your thoughts about this match?
So I was pretty convinced that Andre Chase was going to take that match. But then when I thought about it on a big picture standpoint, it made total sense that Rich Holland won. Because that means that Rich Holland has basically polished off all of Chase U and can move on to something else. And then, of course, we're going to see what he moved on to a little bit later. But I think as a whole, this match was probably my favorite match of the night. It had just the right amount of brutality. It was a good fight. It actually had a big fight feel to it. So
again, like I said, if any of these, including the next two, main evented any random NXT, I won't think, oh no, it has to be on pay-per-view. All Halloween Havoc did was it's now established back as a pay-per-view. That was it. But going into more women's action in a gauntlet match, we have a brand new North American champion. It's not Jessie Jane, it's not Jasmine Nix, but it is Fallon Henley taking that title away from Kalani Jordan. I think she should hold on to it for a while. Her heel turn has really worked out well for her. When she was face, she was losing every week nearly, and now she's holds championship gold. So, congrats to Fallon Henley. But they'll probably lose again next week, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, Byron, anything you want to add?
They made Kalani Jordan look very strong by having her go through three people, go into the match with three people. But yeah, Fallon Henley was definitely walking out as champion. Fallon Henley has just the most upside out of the entire group. It made the most sense. She's kind of established herself as the leader of the group. But I've always been a little bit I've been a little bit partial to Fallon Henley as a wrestler. I think she has a great look, a great character. She's probably one of the best female promos of the last 2 years that's popped up on the brand. I think she's going to have a great future on the main roster as long as they don't saddle her with something that she can't, work her way through. I even think that, her being Tiffany Stratton's last feud in NXT was a great choice. So I've always been impressed by Fallon Henley, and I see great things in her future. So anytime she succeeds, I'm happy.
Marcus, for two questions, your thoughts, and also was this your first time seeing all of Fatal Attraction in a match?
The first time I ever paid attention to them in a match, yeah. So I still don't really know who's all in the group. I don't. If you ask me to name all of them, I will just be like, "Who's Fallon Henley? Fallon Henley. I don't even know who that is. I just know that's the girl that won." And I kind of half-ass paid attention to the part that she was wrestling in. But I will say for Kalani Jordan, this was a really good look for her. They're really building her up to be somebody good, and is due to her athleticism. And shout out to WWE in the program that they got over there, because they're turning former student athletes into professional wrestlers. Like that's really cool. You don't have to. No offense to people that do their thing on the indies first, but you don't have to do your thing on the indies to prove that you can be in this business. And WWE, I mean, from time and time again, has proven that you don't need the indies to be a polished professional wrestler. You can make your way through their program.
Well, yeah, look at Logan Paul. So yes.
Well, I wouldn't count Logan Paul as part of their program. I'm talking about like
No,
Jada
I mean
Parker.
he wasn't on the indies, so
Yeah, but
he didn't
I'm
have.
talking about, but they didn't really mold him either per se. Like I'm talking about Kalani Jordan was fresh, like ultra fresh, like Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, Bianca Belair. These are examples of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, a lot of those people. It's weird how the indies have changed, because it's like when you were on the indies, your whole goal was to get seen and signed by a big company. Now people are like, no, I do it for the love of the sport. No, you don't. You do it because you want the big paycheck. Like, let's stop with the lie. Let's stop with the BS. It's just now, you got two billionaires competing for that kind of attention. But WWE figured out a way that they don't have to. You don't have to. First of all, you're signing these people to these developmental deals. You don't have to worry about a bidding war for the hot guy on the indies or the hot girl on the indies. And for what it's worth, they're still picking up people who, made their way through other promotions.
Obviously, the long-term goal is the big paycheck and to be signed by the WWE or AEW. I might not be the biggest AEW fan, but they're still a big company.
I always just take issue with the term indies because people always use it wrong. Indies used to just be anybody who wasn't under the NWA umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was what indies were. WWE is an indie. AEW would currently be considered an indie. TNA is an indie because they're not under that National Wrestling Alliance. When WCW broke away from the NWA, they became an indie. Like now, indies is like kind of has this different connotation.
It's the opposite now.
Exactly.
You're not contracted to a company. You're an independent wrestler.
Exactly.
Right. Versus back in the day, it was the other way around. If you wasn't an NWA, if you was not an NWA wrestler, you were an indie wrestler. Now it's if you're not signed to AEW, New Japan, if you're not signed with one company, if you're doing a Matt Cardona, you are an indie wrestler. That's why he's the king of the indies, because he ain't signed. He's just everywhere. He's like Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
I always loved the term of in WWE independent contractors. They're not. They can only wrestle for WWE. If they went elsewhere, they'd be fired. Not fired, but Vince wouldn't like it.
It's only with permissions now. Now you just gotta have permission to show up somewhere.
So, closing out NXT Halloween Havoc here in a Devil's Playground match. You're still your NXT champion, Ethan Trick Williams, knocking off Ethan Page. This was a good match. But again, could have been on the main event. Could have been main evented could have main evented next week on NXT. It's in the home of ECW. Could have done it there. So yeah, good match. Sorry, good different side of Ethan. And I'll rate it as silver minus. I'll come to you first, Marcus. Your thoughts on this match and your rating for the entire pay-per-view.
I think it was a pretty good match. I mean, hopefully Ethan goes away for a bit. He needs a refresher. He needs to kind of stray away from the main event picture, just because like he's been in it. He lost his title, tried to get it back again, and didn't succeed. I feel like just take some time away from that. But it was a good match. I will give Halloween Havoc overall a silver minus.
Marcus, sorry, Byron, sorry. Byron, your thoughts on the main event and rating?
So like that match pretty much could have come and gone. I was, The things that happened after were a lot more interesting. Like I said, I don't watch Trick Williams because he's a great in-ring performer. So, as a whole, though, like I said, the show was about a B for me. There weren't really too many standout moments. I think the ambulance match, like I said, was my favorite match. But at this point, it was a good transition show. We got a new North American Women's Champion. I think Tony D can finally move on to a different feud. Hopefully, Obafemi's going main roster. You know, like I said, good transition show.
Yeah. You had a lot of feuds ending, but that's all it did. Going up to the main roster, we go with the show that is Raw. So we had Jey Uso coming out. Jimmy Uso did the Bloodline attack. This just hypes up the match we just recently watched at Crown Jewel. Okay, your thoughts, Byron, of the opener?
Well, you say we're on SmackDown now, right?
On Raw, yeah.
Oh, we're on Raw, yeah. So I'm be honest with you, didn't watch Raw.
Oh, okay then.
Didn't watch Raw. Nope, didn't watch a lick of it.
Fair enough. Your thoughts then, Marcus?
So it was Jay and Jimmy needed to talk that out. I love the fact that Jay was like, yo, if we're going to do this again, first of all, everybody knows that I'm Jay and you Jimmy. When he said that line, I'm people. I am people. I ain't know who was who for the longest time. And so I'm being so serious. I did not know who was who for the longest time. But now Jay has stepped out on his own and has become, and I'm gonna say something that Ricky probably don't like, and nor do I care that he likes it, doesn't like it, the most over person in WWE. Jay is that bull now. He's that guy. He has crowd reaction. Is he the best dude in the ring? Nope. Does he have crowd reaction out the wazoo? Yup. Everybody's eating. And so that meeting was needed, but Jimmy, I hate the way Jimmy's coming off because Jimmy seemed like he can't let go of Roman. And so during that conversation, it was like, listen, OTC will be at the John. He could have like Roman could have been like Roman gonna be there. And that's why Jay was like, all right, yo, like whatever, bro. Like me and you good. We'll get to that. We'll get to SmackDown. Hopefully we get to SmackDown in a good time. But yeah, I like that first segment though.
Okay, we'll quickly speed through Raw and see all of that. Then we'll make this quick. Andy sing Jay's theme song. The fact he just saw it inside. So definitely the most over guy. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else really. Sheamus knocked off Ludwig Kaiser. Good physical match here. I'll take these segments in twos then just to speed it up. Ludwig saw 50-50. Sheamus saw Sheamus, but okay. Seth Rollins comes on out. Runs Reed on the Tron. They brawl backstage. This just hypes up their match at Crown Jewel. Marcus, your thoughts on both of those?
Ludwig Kaiser is just Gunther's whipping boy. That's all he is. He at some point in time, Ludwig Kaiser will step out on his own, but it's not now. It's not now. Not yet. But he will. So of course, always a good dub for good old Shamo. Hope he cracked open a shot of Jameson after he got it. And I actually didn't pay attention to the Bronson Reed and Steph stuff. It actually kind of bores me a little bit.
Fair enough. In women's action, Avinal beats Zelina Vega. Okay, she's getting a good push, but War Raiders, so this was the only good match, the only good decision on Raw. The rest was very skippable, very missable. But the War Raiders now go on to get a tag team title shot, hopefully beating the Judgment Day, but they did beat New Day, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee. And then in your main event, Dominic Mysterio over Damian Priest. This was a shocker. Damian Priest has had a good push since SummerSlam. I know what Marcus is going to say, but Dominic now goes on to get a world title shot. He's not going to beat Gunther, and rating for Raw, bronze minus. Apart from the War Raiders, it was very missable. So, your thoughts on all of that quickly, Marcus? You want to get to SmackDown, so let's speed through this. Ivy Nile, War Raiders, Dominic Mysterio.
Didn't see the Ivy Nile thing. I was cooking at the time. War Raiders, I was actually very surprised to see them back. I don't know how long they've been back, but I was surprised to see them.
They came out 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, shit. That means that's a Raw I probably missed.
Because they won a triple threat, I think. I can't remember. But I know they came back. Like, they taped Raw before they did 2 tape Raws, didn't they?
Okay. And, of course, your future World Champion, Dominic Mysterio, won his match. Dom's about to get... Listen, I don't care. I don't care. Dom about to get it. I hope he wins this. With the help of the show today, I want that man to win. I'm tired. That man is living to his potential now. He's the most hated person in WWE. I want to see some Dominic Mysterio as the world champion, and so he don't have to never cut a promo. He just come out there. Him alongside Liv. Oh, that's magical. Yeah.
I just thought that was going to happen on Raw, but they're not saving that until Survivor Series, surely.
No. Do it on Raw. Make it better. Tasty.
If you say so. There's a title match every week. Feels like there's a title match every week on one of the 3 shows. But quickly, your rating for Raw.
It is a C. Standard, average ass Raw.
So we'll get through NXT as quickly. So NXT. So taking the first ever women's casket match. Tim Paxley putting Wendy Cho into that casket, taking the W. Trick Williams comes on out, and then WWE Hall of Famer Bubba Ray Dudley. He also spoke. Byron, your thoughts on both of these?
So, I am very interested in seeing like this because Bubba Ray's has always been in WWE, a tag team guy. He had a great singles run to me in TNA and in a few of the indies. But I think that this adds like a very solid ECW style feel. I mean, you got Dawn Marie, is going to be the special guest for the Lola Vice, Jada Parker, which I'm pretty sure that Lola Vice is going to win just to keep it even though like Jada Parker is ridiculously over with the crowd. And also the fact that like Jada Parker didn't have to shake her ass for us to know that she had one.
You also got Francine next week and certain Mr. Monday Night. So I wonder if RVD and Kalani will have like a backstage segment. Because Kalani also uses RVD's move, the split-legged moonsaults.
Right.
I wonder who else turns up next week. Maybe Paul Heyman? Perhaps.
I hope so. I think ECW has such an interesting legacy. Even when it comes to people like your, Lexus King, he has a tie to ECW through his dad. There's so many different aspects that they could play with that can have far-reaching, implications. Not saying, they own the ECW brand name, so it's like, well, why not use it?
So, your thoughts on the casket match? Did you enjoy the first ever women's casket match?
I'm always a fan of when they do new stuff with the women because, I always feel like it's about time we get past the firsts. That seems to be something that like kind of gets overdone. Like, oh my God, it's the first women's Hell in a Cell, it's the first this, it's the first that. It's like, okay, like I get that, but I do think that there's a point where we need to be like, hey, let's get those things done so we can get past the first. So I'm always a fan of, let's get it. And then, now that that they can do it, now let's keep it, keep moving forward with it.
Marcus, Well, we're trying to move along. You want to get to SmackDown, so let's move along as quick as we can.
I did not see the casket match, and I felt the promo between Whoop That Trick and Bubba was actually pretty nice and heartfelt.
Speaking of championship matches, you got not one but two on NXT. It seems to be sort of like I say, championship match every week on one of the three brands. Anyway, for the Heritage Cup, Lexus King with William Regal in his corner came up short against Charlie Dempsey. I think this continues to build Lexus King. He didn't want to be like his father. We had in-ring debut of Zarya defeating Brinley Reed. Brinley looked like she broke her arm at some point. I presume she's double jointed, and it just made it look like she broke her arm. You then had Fatal Influence, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Kalani Jordan, Julia Stephanie Vicky come out, and the return of Jordan Grace to NXT. They brawled. You're getting a match next week. Marcus, off you go.
I'm trying to remember what you just said. Because I remember the women's
Charlie Dempsey.
Oh yeah. So I think Lexus King is doing it's really good spot on work of trying to avoid to be his dad, but eventually he's going to catch up to him and he's going to just get into his gene pool and become his father. Because that's good stuff. I also want to say for the shout out to William Regal. The girl, what's her name? Zarya?
Mm-hmm.
Is that her name? It was a squash match. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, which was build her up, which for me meant nothing.
Same. Baron, your thoughts on both of these? Charlie Dempsey winning and Zarya winning her in-ring debut on NXT.
I'm a big fan of Charlie Dempsey. I love the duality, though. I love the idea of, Lexus King doesn't want to be his father, but he pulls out his corner man is Charlie Dempsey's father.
Wait. What?
Yeah, William Regal is Charlie Dempsey's father.
Wow.
In real life. Yeah, his name is I think Braden or whatever.
Wow.
Whatever
okay.
William Regal's
Never knew that. Never knew that.
Yeah, that's one of those good father-son connections in WWE.
That's why he said, he showed up you weren't watching Halloween Havoc, but he turned up at Halloween Havoc and said, I know Charlie Dempsey more than anybody. That's his son.
I thought that was just because they was English.
Yeah,
even though Charlie Dempsey doesn't really speak with an English accent, but there you go. He sounds more.
I can hear it.
Yeah, it's I think his name is Briley Matthews. His William Regal's name is Darren Matthews or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Your thoughts on the women's match, squash match? Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it made Zarya look good because a lot of people, not just like us, didn't really know who she was. They make a big deal out of her. What was her name? Delta or something. So
yeah,
we're trying to understand point A and point B here is, a whole different set of circumstances.
She's got a good look, but apart from that, she's going to have to go a long way to impress me. So let's go through the next two matches and segment. So Kalani Jordan defeating and beating Nikita Lyons. Builds momentum for her heading into next week. Ethan Page comes on out. Rich Holland did. Bubba Ray Dudley came out again. Triple H makes a save. You're getting Bubba Ray Dudley in action next week. His first match in 8 years. And actually, Nathan Fraser retain against Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander are still tag team champions. They got booed. I wonder if that will come in. They'll use that perhaps. Good NXT Silver. Byron, your thoughts on Kalani winning, title retention, and Bubba Ray Dudley wrestling next week?
Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what Bubba Ray can do. I think it's going to be, Philadelphia has a historical wrestling city. A lot of people are looking forward to this match. A lot of people are going to be very interested in what happens next. So definitely big fan of it. I'm hoping for the best on all of this.
Kalani winning, your thoughts?
Kalani needed a bounce back win.
And Axiom and Frazier returning.
Still trying to figure out where they're going with this. They're dragging this breakup too long. Like either break them up.
Do you think they used the booing by the crowd or just ignore it?
I don't know. It's hard to really, like I said, I'm not overly impressed by the booing from the crowd, but
because he wanted Javon to win and he didn't.
Yeah, but
and your rating for NXT?
To me, NXT with all the segments and things pushes it to kind of a B+ show. It, like I said, if Halloween Havoc was a transitional show, this definitely gave us a good look about things to come, and I think that's a lot to look forward to.
So Marcus, let's get through this. So Kalani winning, your thought?
Good one for Kalani. That was a cool segment with Trick. Trick is going to be the new Devon for a night. That's what's up. Philly is the place to be, especially at the 2300 Arena. Yep. They got a lot of 2300 Arena is a legendary place. I'm thankful to be from the city of Philadelphia and to have my first promotion be ECW. Where there, a lot of people got made at, and hopefully Trick is another one of those names that can put his name in the annals of the 2300 Arena. I feel like NXT was a good B- show, so a silver minus.
And any thoughts on Fraser actually returning?
I didn't want them to win. I actually am tired of seeing them as a tag team. I barely even know them. I've only seen them like a good handful of times, and it's less than 5. But I feel like I'm tired of seeing them already. I feel like Javon Evans needs to win something to stay relevant. Though he's over, he needs something.
And he's going to take on Wes Lee, but Wes Lee's 50-50, so he's going to beat Wes Lee, and it'll be like, okay. But let's speed as quick as we can through the next match, which of course is Speed. Dragon Lee knocking off Tavian Heights. Cool win for Dragon Lee. Bronze. Do you watch Speed, Byron?
Not really. I watched it. I think I watched like the Andrade run, and that was about it.
Okay. So let's get to Marcus's shot of Smack It D's. I'll go for the notes.
Yeah, I ain't take no notes.
Okay, so I'll go for the notes. Nia Jax comes out talking about Crown Jewel. Liv Morgan interrupts. Tiffany Stratton interrupts, leads to a match. Liv Morgan over Tiffany Stratton. You probably didn't want Liv losing. Tiffany's now a glorified jobber in my eyes. Marcus, your thoughts of the first match?
This is how you set it up. Come on now. You know Tiffy time coming, baby. You know it's coming. You just gotta give her some time. Lose a couple matches here.
I can't believe you called Tiffy a glorified jobber.
That's wild business. That's wild business. It's all part of the game. Tiffy time coming, dog. Tiffy time coming.
The last big match she won was
probably Money in the Bank,
which was in July.
Listen, as long as she got that briefcase on her, it's always Tiffy time.
Your thoughts, Byron, of Tiffany taking the L, Liv Morgan taking the W?
Liv Morgan that's just business. Liv Morgan's got the big match at, the pay-per-view. So she couldn't really take the L. It also gave kind of another, a little bit of a reason if Tiffy was to try to cash in on Liv, things like that, like little things here and there. Just to kind of, Tiffy has a good showing out because it wasn't like a squash. And, and like I said, she's going against the brand world champion. So, they got having Liv just get beat isn't really good business when you're promoting a pay-per-view go home.
Well, if you had Liv lose, that makes her look bad for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next two matches, which of course were tag team action. So Street Profits over Pretty Deadly. It's a win for them. And Bailey and Naomi. Well, I like that Naomi's racking up those victories. And that this one was against Candice LeRae and no longer in WWE, but we'll get to this soon here. Indy Hartwell. I don't understand why she's gone, but we'll get to that. Mark, Byron, your thoughts on these two matches?
Well, Pretty Deadly definitely needs a win. I think their gimmick in NXT UK was top notch. I think that their ability as a tag team is really, really good. But, Street Profits, you either got to do something with them or you got to cut bait. Whereas I think Pretty Deadly still has the UK audience pretty heavy on them. So it's, I understand why the Street Profits won. And then what was the other match?
Bailey and Naomi taking on Indy and Candice.
Yeah, well, that was a foregone conclusion because you got to keep Bailey strong.
Do you like that Naomi's racking up the wins?
I'm glad Naomi's winning. And I think, Naomi has always had a good connection with the fans. She's always like giving away, brought something special that a lot of other athletes didn't have. So, like I said, I've always been a big fan of Naomi. But going forward,
And a very quick question. A number of weeks ago, Naomi pinned Nia. So, do they do Nia Jax at Survivor Series?
I don't see it happening at Survivor Series. Like, I don't know. It's a tough situation when you have Naomi because Naomi's not exactly pay-per-view ish. So.
Yeah, it's a two-car match. NXT, as far as Survivor Series is a two-car match. It's a two War Game match. Everything else is just filler. So I would do it. I'm not saying that Naomi's filler, but that's where I would do it.
But like you say, Naomi's not filler, but Naomi's kind of filler. Like Naomi is one of those people that like, okay, yeah, she can hold the women's title if we're in a downturn for a little bit.
Fair enough. I thought she was a good champion when she had it. I liked when she was champion because when she had like the Glow title, that was very unique. Yeah. And didn't she? Didn't she win at Mania? No, it was Bailey, wasn't it? Mania 33. Marcus, your thoughts on these two matches? Street Profits taking the win and Bailey and Naomi taking the win.
I feel like ever since I've seen Deadly, Pretty Deadly, which has been since they've been on the main roster, they have not won a match. You can't make them to the modern day Billy and Chuck. I wish they did. That would probably make them more over, I guess. But that's neither here nor there. So Street Profits getting that win, that's an obvious one. And Naomi and Bailey getting the dub. I mean, gotta keep Naomi and Bailey going strong. They're more than likely at some point down the line they're going to be the next challengers for the women's tag titles. But yeah, you got to keep them strong, and of course, Indy and Candice. Indy and Candice.
We've got a match we made at Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns, the Usos taking on the Bloodline. Okay, to hype this, Reigns came out. Jimmy Uso spoke. Jey Uso comes out. So I'll get your thoughts on that, and also the next match, which was in Fatal 4-Way action. Io Sky winning it against Latch Legend, Piper Niven, and Bianca Belair. Certainly building momentum into the pay-per-view we saw a few hours earlier. A few hours early today, should I say, sorry. Marcus, your thoughts on the Reigns segment and Io winning?
So, first of all, I was low-key actually disappointed in Jimmy not coming out to his own music first. I was actually very disappointed because I've said this before on this podcast. I'm not sure if I'm sure I've had. The old version of the Tribal Chief song sounds a lot better than the current one. The current one, I know what they were trying to do. They're trying to go off of the Children of the School District of Philadelphia playing him in. You can't replicate that. It's different. You just can't do that with you can't do that without it being live. You just can't. but I was actually low key very disappointed in Jimmy because it shows that Jimmy is still acknowledges Roman as his tribal chief instead of listening to what his twin brother said, which is we are all individuals. When Jimmy came out, Roman's face, if you can see Roman's face, Roman was not liking this. He had to chew a sour grape because at one point in time, Roman was the most over person. Now the whole arena is yeeting. My cousin's more over than me? What in the hell is this? And so, it was a yeet-a-thon. And so he got down to the ring, got in the ring, and guess what? We were using yeet. Like we used what? So he had to hear that the whole time. I could tell Roman was not digging it. So, Roman had to let out his own yeet to say, I agree. I'm all in. We are all individuals, and therefore we're gonna work together as individuals, as a team. So I like that segment. I like how it went. And once again, it proved that Jey Uso is the most over Samoan in WWE right now.
And very, very quickly, just to right, 5 seconds here. You're right about Jimmy. He's gone right back into being Reigns' lackey because he came out with him at Crown Jewel. It's just like, even though Jay wants them all to be individuals, Jimmy's not. Anyway,
and then there was a match. Wait, was there a match?
Io won the Fatal 4-Way against Lash Legend, Beth Niven, and Bianca Belair.
I was actually very entertained by that Fatal 4-Way. Lash actually very much showed off. That was very good from Lash. Like Lash and Jakara have been showing that they should have been a part of that draft when others got drafted before them. Valkyria. They should have been drafted for real. But I see also where WWE was going, because this is during the time period where she was having her little thing with Trick Williams kind of thing, when they was on TV together. Now, obviously she's called up to SmackDown. She did very well. That match was very entertaining. I think Piper Niven always puts out on a good showing. She's quite agile for a girl her size, which is really good. Yeah. And Io Sky came out with the dub. I mean, those 4 women have chemistry that's out the wazoo. Well, those 8 women have chemistry out the wazoo. So, big shout out to all 4 of those teams putting on for the women's tag division, which at times is very stagnant.
Byron, your thoughts on the Reigns, Jay, and Jimmy segment, and Io Sky coming out the winner?
I was a big fan of this segment, honestly. Huge fan of it. I love the fact that when these guys, when they do work, like it really does work. Like there's a chemistry that you can't teach, and a lot of it does come from the fact that they are real life family. They convey emotion in a way that's different. But I also think the big thing for me in this segment is how much growth you really see. Like you guys say Jimmy didn't have that growth. Jimmy seems to be the only one like thinking in terms of common sense. Like Roman and Jay still look like in their minds, I can handle this on my own. No, you can't, and it's been proven that you can't. But for some reason, y'all want to be hard-headed about this. So, as much as y'all talking about Jim still standing in the shadow, like Jim never changed. Jim always said that Roman was his tribal chief. But he hasn't, he's definitely standing up to Roman significantly. So
sorry about that. I'm getting all blown up. Just started getting blown up. Breathing.
Is it damn breathing? But yeah. And then the 4-Way, like I said, I don't know what it is about Io Sky, but I love watching Io Sky wrestle. Like there are a few things in this world that give me more joy than watching the genius of the Sky do her thing. I think that she is heavily underrated, like heavily underrated.
Well, I like watching her, but we probably like watching her for different reasons. But let's move into the main event. That was a 10-minute match with about 10,000 ads. So you play about 5 minutes of action. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton go over Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser, that's 50-50. So this meant nothing. It didn't build the match whatsoever for Crown Jewel.
Did not.
A really throwaway filler SmackDown, and I'll say bronze. It was better than Raw, but not much. Your thoughts, Byron, and your rating?
I don't know. This, you look at certain things, and you got Randy Orton, you got Cody Rhodes going by legacy again. You got Imperium. Ludwig's the odd man out. I thought this was kind of like giving Cody this easy win before he takes the L at Crown Jewel, but obviously that didn't work out either. So, it's a thing.
Your thoughts, Marcus, of this match?
Yo, this match was such a throwaway.
Right.
This did nothing for no one. I watched it and I literally was like, wait, it's over? For real? I literally couldn't believe how, and I'm usually not a Debbie Downer for Cody Rhodes and Randy and Randall, but that was probably one of the worst. That's probably one of the most sleepy matches I've ever seen from Cody and Randall, ever.
Exactly.
Because Cody's not the guy, and all these people, everyone they go, oh, he's better than Reigns, or people that want to say he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
he's had a horrible title reign. When he loses it, whoever that is to The Rock, back to Reigns, to Orton, to whoever, he'll be forgotten about. They'll be like, oh, thank God that's over. Yes, let's move on.
I think Cody is gonna get so overshadowed during John Cena's comeback year. I think the only reason that Cody is champion right now is because he makes for a good champion to have when other people are more popular.
Suppose.
But
yeah.
Am I wrong though? That's the question. Am I wrong though?
Yeah, it's gonna be all about Cena next year, isn't it? And
oh man, I cannot wait. I can't listen. I'm gonna be just as excited as your son is, man.
Right?
The goat's back. The goat's back. And I pray, and I know there's a side note, but I pray that he beats Ric Flair's record, because we already know about the whole Ric Flair thing. But I want him to have that. He deserves that, man.
That's the rumors that Mania are beating Gunther. Even though I think Gunther should be champion for the next 10 years, but a long time. So before we get into the pay-per-view, we'll quickly go through Level Up. So Laney Reed over Collie Bright, over Mensah knocked off Nico Vance, Danny Palmer pins Kelly Armstrong, and Gallus have been completely lost in the shuffle. They lost to three jobbers that were Dion Lennox, Charlotte Hill, and Cutler James. I'll say Silver, because I like people getting a push and it's all fresh action, but Gallus need to do something. Anyway, let's get into the pay-per-view that was just in Saudi. Crown Jewel kicked off with Roman Reigns and the Usos taking on the Bloodline. Good match here. The Bloodline win. I thought they would win, but Solo pinning Reigns. We didn't get a fifth Bloodline member, so they're saving that, either Zilla or Hikuleo or somebody else. The bigger story came after the match that Sami Zayn, so Bloodline beat down Jay. So out comes Sami. Missed good timing. The Reigns going for a spear on Solo. Zayn kicking Reigns. Obviously, that's caused friction. So yeah, a big win for the Bloodline, but I didn't expect Reigns to get pinned. Anyway, Byron, your thoughts of this match?
Oh, I think Roman getting pinned made this match. Like, and I don't mean like in a bad way. I mean like it really like here's the thing. The Bloodline were like killing the mid cards, but this like made everybody like you got to take notice. And then the fact that there wasn't like this massive dissension between like the originals was interesting. Having Sami Zayn come out at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia is always a huge deal because of the fact that he is of Syrian descent. But goodness, if I tell y'all, the way that this whole thing came together is like I knew Solo's group was gonna win, but still, like seeing it happen to Roman of all people.
I thought it was going to be the 5th Bloodline member on the original Bloodline. Bloodline 2.0, they would make their debut and cause distraction, and that's what led to Reigns' Bloodline winning, 3 losing. But I'm guessing that's so they're saving that for SmackDown.
They're definitely saving it for something. I'll say that much.
Marcus, your thoughts on this win, on this opening contest?
Man, what a shocker, right? Solo pinning Roman. I ain't see that coming for real. I mean, Tangaloa. Wait, which one? Which one's the one that was standing outside the ring?
Tangaloa, yeah.
All right, I did have it right. All right, so Tangaloa, didn't really do that much, but it was first of all, it was a very incredible match. Great storytelling. The one thing about this Bloodline storyline that it does is tell its ass off. It is a good storytelling thing. You can write a damn book about this thing, both a kid's book and an adult's book. But once again, still shocking. Not that shocked that Roman took the pin, though, to be honest with you. Not that shocked about it, though. I didn't predict that. I'm not shocked that he took the pin. There was a lot of dissension during that match. Once again, Jay being like, hey, I'm my own man. I'm main event Jay Uso. You want to tag? I'm tagging my brother. Bonk you. The only time I tag you is when I need to tag you. You got it, chick. You got it, man. And so all that kind of led to Roman getting defeated. To them being defeated. Sammy coming out was interesting because I didn't know what part he was going to play due to the fact that we saw what we saw on SmackDown with him talking to Solo. But him suplexing Solo, The kick, I mean, obviously, right? Solo's in the middle, and Roman jumps sky high in the air to do a damn Superman punch. Of course, you're going to get kicked in the face, and everybody like, oh, what's going on? And once again, Byron, I'm not disagreeing with you. What you said about SmackDown, I actually agree with what you're saying. He's the only one using common sense to actually try to speak life into the two people that's hard-headed.
Yep.
But then he reverts back to just being Mr. I'm in the shadow again because he's like, hey, Sammy, what you doing? And Jay like, bro, it was obviously a mistake. Duh. It was 4 people cornering one dude in the middle. There was an escape plan for Solo when we all converged. It's okay. Chill out. And Jimmy like, no, that's the Tribal Chief, bro. It's like, no. That's not the Tribal Chief. That's Roman Reigns. Leave it alone. Stop it. He doesn't have an Ulafala. We don't have to acknowledge him right now. And so it was a spectacular storytelling match that had not all the stuff, but it had all the stuff for a Saudi show.
Right.
Just to speed it up a little bit here, I'll go matches now, two in two, if that makes sense. We fatal 4-way action, Metal 4, Chelsea Green, Papa Niven, Damage Control, Pipe, Bianca Jay Cargill for the women's tag team titles. All tag teams looked good here. Certainly a big match for Metaphor and Chelsea and Damage Control, well as I think. I would have had Metaphor win. They didn't. Bianca and Jay retain. That was a shocker. And you then had Seth Rollins beat Bronson Reed. Now Rollins hasn't won a match, so this is his first win on pay-per-view all year. Now, whilst Reed beating him would have been like, and Rollins has lost every single match on pay-per-view, it would have still been a big win for Reed.
Yeah.
I think this really stopped his momentum. Just I think, ugh.
I don't think they stopped his momentum. I mean, he was so dominant through this match, and it was like, I mean, 3 stomps and he still got up like towards the end. It's like, yeah, it was enough to stun him and put him down for the 3 count, but he was standing up and standing tall at the end of that.
And your thoughts on Bianca and Jade retaining?
The only other team that I would have wanted to see win that would have been Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, but I don't see Jade and Jade and Bianca losing that at this moment.
I'll
Marcus,
say this. I'll say I did want Metaphor to win as well. I want to see the young girls getting pushed, as they should. But then again, they are getting pushed because once again, those 8 women have good ass chemistry. So Bianca and Jade still winning, that allows them to carry it forward. And they've been having pretty good matches with the rest of the tag division, except that Unholy Union group. That's the only group that they really didn't have good matches with, to be honest with you, in my opinion. I will also say for Bronson Reed actually still got put over in a good way because it showed that he was a monster and that Seth Rollins truly didn't put him down. And I feel like Seth Rollins kind of acknowledged, since we like using that word a lot in WWE nowadays, he acknowledged that Bronson Reed is a problem. Like, yo, if I see this dude down the line, I probably won't beat him.
Yeah.
So it did good for both people. It didn't gave Seth a win, good for him, but it made Bronson respectable, right? Because up to that moment, who Bronson Reed really beat, yo? Who he really beat?
And I think that's the other part of this equation.
Like, that's my whole thing. Like, who he really beat? Because, like, to me, is he a monster? Yeah, but like, who you beat, dog? And it's like, yeah, he got beat, but he also got beat by the same dude that beat Brock Lesnar. That means a lot. You know what I mean? And look at Seth Rollins' resume and the fact that Bronson Reed wasn't just laying in the ring after the match. Yeah, that does something for him.
So let's go to the next 2 in the totally pointless one of 2 Crown Jewel matches. This was for the women's. Nia Jax, Liv Morgan. Ugh. I would have had Nia win. I think you can continue her push. The interesting thing about this, no Rhea Ripley, so it looks like the injury actually is real. And now we don't get War Games? So obviously he was only 4 weeks away, something like that. It's on the 30th, so 4 or 5 weeks. Is Rhea going to be healed up that quick from an eye injury? Probably not. So what is this thing between Liv and Rhea been leading to? Just but you had Tiffany, the distraction cost Nia. So okay, that continues to build that. I think we've had Nia win because then when Tiffany does cash in on her, that means more. Even though the title means nothing, the Crown Jewel Championship means nothing, it still would have been meant more for Tiffany. You then had, was it Orton and... Yeah, it was Orton and Owens that got thrown out. Match didn't even happen. But you're probably getting a rematch at Survivor Series. Yeah, I mean, good beatdown, good fight, and I would imagine Orton's way. So another match that Orton's not won. It didn't happen, but still hasn't won on pay-per-view. So he probably won at Survivor Series either if they have a rematch.
Right.
Marcus, your thoughts on Orton and Owens and Liv Morgan winning the pointless Crown Jewel Women's title?
All right, so boo to Randall, Keith, and KO not really having a match. Boo. I came here to see results, not nothing. Boo. So the Liv and Nia match was very interesting. I actually wanted Tiffy Tom to be tonight, because then it would just be a triple threat match for whatever title she wanted. Right? She doesn't have to say, "Hey, I want to challenge this person." They was both in a match together. She could have just made this a random triple threat, and she would have won 2 titles. Who knows what title she would have won? It all depends on who she would have pinned, right?
Got a point there.
So
Yeah,
it would have been the coolest kind of stipulation that we never asked for.
I thought it was going to be both women are down. Liv, Tiff comes in and goes, who am I going to cash in on? And that's what. That's what.
Bless you, by the way, Byron. Do you see how? But think about how interesting that would have made that match. That would have made that match like interesting times 10, because it would be like, oh, they both down. Who does Tiffy pin? Oh snap! Intrigue, interesting. But Liv won due to Dirty Dom, our future World Heavyweight Champion, Dirty Dom Mysterio, and Raquel Rodriguez, aka future girlfriend of Carlito. Yeah, I'm calling that.
Ain't Carlito married?
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's all kayfabe, baby.
Oh, okay, got you.
It's all kayfabe, baby. But yeah, that's my thoughts about those 2 things.
Byron, over to you.
So, definitely a lot of missed opportunity. Like the towards the tail end of that match, it got real sloppy. That to me was my only real issue with it, was that it started getting real muddled. So it's kind of like, yeah, you won, but like it didn't do really anything for you. And this is probably like, if you're gonna have Liv Morgan beat Nia Jax, that should be a statement win, But as a whole, those championships, like you said, don't really matter. It's just glorified house show.
It made me laugh when she was holding it up and he looked so much bigger.
Yeah.
The women's world title, that's the main title, the title you're going to see going forward. Because I haven't watched it yet, but I presume that Liv had the title on the press conference. I don't know, what do we call it now? I'm calling it press conference. I'll watch it later. But after that, you're never going to see it again until next year.
Yeah.
But he was so much bigger than the main title.
Like whatever the
apparently they're going to receive a championship ring. Like, okay, that's cool, but
once again,
your thoughts on Orton Owens
is a heel prop still. But as far as Orton and KO, I think that's just a match. They don't want to do KO versus Cody Rhodes until Royal Rumble. So this is a way to like give the Saudi people a show, give the PLE a show, because this is the first one in a long time that wasn't a main show that had more than 5 matches. So you give them a little bit of a show, something to go on, heats up the discussion. KO had a little like segment afterwards on the post show. We get the match at Survivor Series, and then eventually we go into the Cody Rhodes versus KO build that gets us in the preparation and the mindset to get to the Rumble.
They're meant to be doing Saturday night's main event, I think, but stretching out to, I know it's only 2 months, but stretching out to the Rumble. I don't think Cody's been champion by the Rumble. I think The Rock beats him on Raw. Anyway, I know it's 50-50. Is The Rock going to be there? But surely he's going to be.
Yeah.
So LA Knight retains against Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. I think a big match for Carmelo. I know Andrade won at Mania. This is still a big match for him. He's had consistent usage, consistent push, I suppose. But this went very quick. And then your main event, Cody Rhodes, Gunther. Thank God we didn't get Goldberg, so that's a bonus. But again, the championship just looked so ridiculously big, much bigger than the WWE Championship. Makes no sense.
Let me speak on this before I leave out, because I got other things I got to do right now. So I'm low key tired of LA Knight now.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's surprising coming from me, but I'm tired of that motherfucker now. I want him to lose now. He should have lost to either Andrade or Carmelo. I don't care who. He should have lost it tonight. As far as the match was actually good between Cody and Gunther. It had a nice little Bret Hart finish. So for all those WWE purists out there you go. Covered that. I mean, both Crown Jewel titles are just overly expensive props for Saudi Arabia. That's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're going to look gigantic and look like they don't fit nobody. Who is it for? It's not for them. It's for the WWE experience in Saudi Arabia. So it's not really something that, Cody and Liv took them rings off and put them in. They're going to put them on their mantle somewhere or put it in like a casing. But they're not. It's not something to be cherished. It's something to have.
Okay. I'll quickly get your rating. My rating for Crown Jewel, I'll say, silver minus. It wasn't really that good.
I'm getting it in a regular silver.
And Byron?
I don't know. I got a bronze plus.
Give it.
Okay,
well, rest of the show, guys.
Okay, then, and I'll see you soon then.
Later on.
Okay, then we'll finish up here. Well, we've got one more segment to do, but I've got another ad to play, so I'll play this, and then we'll go into the final segment. Three things to cover and discuss. So let me play this first. To never miss a second, never miss an upload, never miss anything I do, and never miss when I go live doing watch parties and my brand new podcast live Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. The Reigning Rock Podcast. Add me on Facebook, Ricky J. Pete. Whilst there, search on Facebook WWA World Wrestling Alliance. Follow me on X at Ricky Goldmans. Head over to Pro Wrestling Tees and search Goldmans1 and head over to my YouTube channel. Search, like, and subscribe to the People's Wrestling Channel. That once again, the People's Wrestling Channel. That is right. Quickly, let's get this done. You heard there on Wednesdays. Obviously not. You've seen the podcast right here, right now. All my socials, like and subscribe. Just one away from 390. So let's get into our final segment here. I will get Byron to announce it after I played this video right here.
And now we have the news and headlines on the.
That is right. So the breaking news is, so three things to cover. So we'll first of all cover quickly the releases. So Tegan Knox, Baron Corbin, Indy Hartwell. Tegan Knox, no shocker there. All of these, I think, will go to AEW, TNA. I think they'll be lost in the shuffle in AEW. Indy Hartwell, I don't understand why you would get rid of. She just had a match on SmackDown. And Baron Corbin, yeah, no shocker there really either. Your thoughts on all three, Byron?
I honestly think that this was done as a strategic move to kind of boost TNA's roster. I think Baron Corbin's going directly to TNA. I think he can do a lot of good there. He can be like kind of the monster over there. He could definitely be world champion over that way. Indy Hartwell, very much the same. I think Indy Hartwell's young. I think that she still has a lot of potential. You look at the fact that it would reunite her with Steph DeLander. There's just a lot of positivity to me in Indy's future. She's 28 years old. She's over 6 foot. She has definitely a different kind of wrestling style, but she hasn't really had a full opportunity to develop her own character because she's been tied with the Garganos for so long that she, this could be very, very good for her. As far as Tegan Knox getting released, about time. I've never been impressed by Tegan Knox.
Second story here is this WWE idea independent WWE ID program. So people from the indies can now come into WWE. It's always been that way, but they're really honing in on it, and it's like I think it's Cody's school, Rikishi's school, a few others. Yeah, this is obviously a good idea. There's quite a few of the shows I go to here that I think could fit in WWE. I don't know if WWE will have their eyes everywhere, or it's just these certain wrestling schools. Your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I think it's a huge boost to these wrestling schools because people are now going to look at them as a path to the WWE. And I think a lot of times you look at some of these other, companies and people that are upset about it, and it's like, are you mad because you didn't think of it first? Like, WWE still sees itself as the top of the hill. AEW doesn't have the ratings, doesn't have the reach, doesn't have the value yet. Not saying they won't get it, but I'm saying, WWE's had a 50-year head start. So WWE has to keep innovating and stay ahead of the game. So coming up with the NIL program, coming up with WWE ID, like these are good ideas that are going to help a lot of people who are trying to figure out how to make it. But being able to teach the WWE style of wrestling is important.
Do you think it's what some people are saying because of AEW, they're using indie talent, or no?
No, I think that I think what it is that when you think worldwide, there's so much talent. I mean, TNA went out to the UK and they got guys like Leon Slater and Heather Reckless and all these other folks that are insanely good. And AEW's had access to a lot of those international people. Like AEW got Jamie Hayter. She's amazing. They got Soraya's brother, Zach, who is exceptionally good. So they've had these ends. So it's not like they're going to lose talent. They just may have to work a little bit harder to get these people and entice them to come over. Whereas WWE is like, hey, there are a lot of untapped talents that are here that want to do this. And those schools are going to become like WWE certified now. So it's a good idea.
And GYV, grizzled young veterans that were, what were they called in WWE? What was Joe Gacy's faction?
Oh, the Schism.
Yeah. Yes, it's something like, yeah. They're super talented, and look what AEW does with them. Nothing.
Not a thing.
And the final story here is Vince McMahon. Yeah, no chance in hell. Well, he's created a new company. It's an entertainment company. Could be wrestling, could not be. At 80, is he 78 now? He should be at home, retired, feet up, relaxing with all his money. I'm sure he's still a billionaire. But yeah, any thoughts on this?
I mean, Vince is gonna Vince. It's like in Vince's mind, he was abruptly displaced, and now he's just sitting back and he's watching other people do things. And Vince, in his mind, still thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. So it makes sense that he would try another business venture to at least, if to no one else, to prove to himself that like he's not behind the times, that everything is he still has value. But I do think there are enough people that will look past what Vince is accused of because they want their opportunity at stardom and they want that opportunity to be famous. And regardless of what entity this takes form, there's enough people who are thirsty enough for stardom that like they don't care what he did as long as it gets them where they want to go. Like for every person, and I know this is like not the right thing to say, but there are certain people who will trade favors in order to become famous. So it's like Vince being more open about, but the fact that Vince is open about it, a lot of those people are going to be like, well, I already know how to get to him, so this provides the opportunity.
Yeah, why? What Vince? If everything he's done is true, it probably is. But if everything he's done is true, how does that affect them? Why do they care? They want money and fame.
Right. because it's like now it's not like now you can't say it's a surprise. You get what I'm saying? Like now you can't go in there and be like, I didn't know he was gonna be like that. No, you knew exactly how he was gonna be, and you were good with it because it got you to where you wanted to be. And I think that's, I think there's a certain malignant honesty to this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And to finish up here, if you want to promote FTW, the greatest prediction league there is.
Greatest prediction league there is. Best in the world. Some of the top talent. Some of the most fun that you could have. Some of the best promo artists that I've seen have come through. Even some celebrity wrestlers have been a part of us. So it's always been a huge thing. Like Nick Gage has been here. Matt Cardona, Vicky the Dragon Dreamboat. She's in it, a part of us. So we definitely have some very interesting stuff coming up for the rest of this year in 2025.
I'll definitely keep my eye on that then and try and take home more championship gold.
There you go. And don't forget to go by DOMCAST Nation when you have the opportunity. See the best freckles on the planet as we continue to grow our brand there.
And hopefully I can inspire you to do more stories and more articles.
Absolutely. Yep.
So everybody do like and subscribe, and a big thank you to you, Byron, for joining me.
No problem at all.
And always remember, everybody, to acknowledge and electrify. If wrestling is a game, excellence is the name, and excellence is Ricky Goldman.